Hi YouTube, Mr. Dodo8449 here. Today, as I mentioned just a second ago in the video, it's an update video for my layout, for the new layout. I've done quite a bit of work actually, not so much on the track plan, but I've been doing quite a bit of work elsewhere, and it's all the stuff elsewhere that makes a good layout. So forgetting the track plan or the layout, and forgetting the layout, the detail, the track plan, all that sort of stuff. So I'll just quickly run through what I mentioned in the last video because it's still relevant to this topic. Your track, you need to make sure that the wiring works really well. You don't have any dead spots or anything like that. Now in my case, you can clearly see the two coloured pieces of board there. That's where the join runs. Now to get around that, I showed you in the previous one, I've used chock blocks underneath, and then wires running through all the boards, and then I can easily power up either side of the track, take it apart, stick it back together, and the locos run absolutely fine over the top of it, and they wouldn't even notice there was a difference. So yeah, that's all, the wiring's all done. Then the next thing we move on to is the point motors and that sort of stuff. Now I'm using Pico PL10E point motors, which is the with the extended arm, just because I've got a thicker baseboard, that's all. I've only got 3 mounting plates, so I've only done 3 points at the moment. But it's this point here, point behind the loco, and the Y point up there. This one here is going to have a above surface point motor because it's just easier on that one point. Haven't decided what to do with the other 2 streamline points over there. I've actually got quite good at now. I've got quite good at mounting these point motors so they work properly, they line up well. There's no sort of bad noises or anything, which is what you need. So to help with that, I've come up with a new system. And I'm going to do a how-to video on this. You may have noticed this board down the bottom here. Basically, I didn't really want to use point motors because the cost of the switches is ridiculous. Pico charge, my local shop, it's £4 for these point motor switches. You know, you get them in the red lever, green, blue, yellow, white, I think those are the colours, and black. But £4, and I worked out that for me to do 6 point motors would cost me £24. And I found a way to save £22.50, which is, if you think about it, it's a massive chunk of saving. But at the same time, from that £1.50 that I actually spent, I could probably create switches for about 12, 13 points, something like that. In fact, probably 15 points I could probably get switches for. So I'm going to go through that a little bit in this video, but I have got a proper tutorial video on it, which I'll upload after this one. So that will show you how to build it and all that sort of thing. But that's this here, I'll go back to it later in the video. The next thing I moved on to is somewhere for me to mount my controllers. Now as you can see, they're here at the moment. There's enough for 1, 2, 3. The third one isn't there, obviously. And now that's securely screwed onto the underside of the baseboard. It's screwed to the control panel as well, so it's very safe. It's not going to move anywhere. There's enough room on there for me to stick all the controllers. They have to go on this angle like this because there's wires coming out the side and the back, and they fit a lot better like that. There's not as much movement and so on. And once they're screwed down, you won't even notice it. Now what you can see hanging out the front is, well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. The first controller runs the branch line and the point motors. The second controller runs the middle line and the lighting circuit, and then the final controller will run the top line, and it will be a spare auxiliary for any other lights, maybe signals, things like that I can add at a later date. So at least I've got the spare line there and it's ready to be used. So that's what I'm planning on those controllers. Now only the closest one to us is wired up, so I'm going to run a loco later on in the video, and we'll see how it goes. Now the final thing is the way I've lifted it off the ground, so I'm going to move the camera and have a good look at that. Right then, this is the underside of my baseboard, and I've actually built something that's a lot sturdier than what I used to do. I've actually built a frame that I then just metal. In fact, I can just slide this board off the top. It's not screwed down or anything, but it's secure. It doesn't wobble. which is exactly what I wanted. It means I can just lift the top off, separate it all into bits, and really easy to transport and move around. Now the legs are made from 1.5 inch square timber for the uprights and the cross posts. I've left a space at the front so I can actually stick my legs in like a desk, and I've got a desk chair upstairs which I'm going to bring down. So it's a good idea if you are going to build your own table to leave space underneath so you can stick your legs in. It's a lot more comfortable to sit down and work on it. Yeah, it's a good idea. So as you can see, it's nice and strong. You can see all the metal joiners I've used in the corners. There's also ones on the underside as well, which just makes it very rigid and very strong. So I'm really just showing you that you really, although it does cost a bit to get all the wood and screws and so on, you really do need to spend that to make sure you have a good quality layout. You need a good quality baseboard, a good quality frame construction, and if you want it to be easily moved, you want to copy me by basically have it that the legs at the top, so 1, 2, 3, the 4 legs at the top, I have to actually force them in very slightly, push them in on all the corners to make them fit underneath the board, which means they naturally want to spring out and they hold the board so it doesn't move anywhere. You don't need to connect it with anything, no screws or anything at the top, which is great news just for making it nice and easy to move. So yes, I'm trying something new, which is I'm going to start splitting my videos in half, so they're only a sort of 5-6 minute long videos rather than a 10-minute long video. So this is the end of the first half. The second half will be uploaded less than 24 hours later, so less than a day later, and I'm going to start off with all my control panel and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'd like to hear what you think after the second video. If you can just leave a comment if you think this is a good idea, splitting the videos in half or so on. If the video is going to be 8 minutes long, I probably won't bother splitting it in half, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if you have any comments about what you've seen so far, if you need to know anything, then please leave them below. And yeah, I will hopefully get back to you soon. Thanks for watching.